Hello, Linda Jan Barnes. This is Paul Cundiff. Here is your old engine, which actually, when we started looking up, it had good compression, but when we started looking up the parts that we had needed new points. These guys are points, condensers, this rope starter system. There was, this thing is supposed to, you see how this rotates? That's supposed to rotate with the throttle, but whatever linkage was supposed to be there is gone, and that advances the timing as the speed goes up, which your car does that automatically. Every internal combustion engine does that automatically, but this one wasn't doing it at all. It was just kind of flopping around in the breeze with no control. So anyway, we looked at all the parts that we were going to have to buy, and it became clear real fast that the cheapest way out was to buy a running engine. And we found this engine. Well, that's part of the engine. Here's the engine. We found this engine for $350, and so we snatched it up, thinking that all we were going to have to do is pull the power head. This is called the power head. Pull the power head out of this engine and off this gearbox, and mount it right to the gearbox that was in here. No, it wasn't so easy. It was close to that easy, but not quite that easy. So here's your old gearbox off the old Hydromite, and so what we had to do was actually take most of the internals out of this gearbox and put them in this gearbox. And one of the reasons was this skeg is broken, and that's the skeg that holds your protector for the prop that'll keep your little kids, keep your grandkids out of the propeller. So anyway, so we ended up having to work on not only the engine but the gearbox. There is we have to devise a method. This is that linkage I was showing you that changes the ignition timing, and it hooks to an arm that pivots right in here. And what we have to do is devise a way to have the throttle pivot that arm, and that controls the carburetor, and it controls the advancing of the ignition timing at the same time. And of course, this outboard motor has a little pivot spot. It has a place right here for the other end of this rod that we have to install to pivot. So we got to devise that. We think we've got another day in this, and we're at about a little less than $1,600 right now. We think we have another day, and we'll have this guy running, and when you could put it in the water, I mean, that's it's not going to be real pretty, you know. It's as you recall, I took a pressure washer to this, and I managed to get most of the red paint off. If I'd had a more powerful pressure washer, I think I could have gotten all the red paint off and not damaged the gel coat underneath, which means that you can do the same. That color is actually gel coat. So you may have to hire a friend with a high-powered pressure washer to help you clean it up, or just run it this way. I mean, it's not a big deal. So here's where the gearbox bolts in. And then the rudder, we got a little work we got to do on the rudder. It seems to be jammed. No, it doesn't seem to be jammed, it's jammed. So we got to do the rudder, but we think we can get it all pretty well going in a day, one more day. And then, so Mike, we got questions. How does that influence the rest of the scope of work? Do you want us to do anything else? Do you want us to test it extensively? Because that's going to be some more time. What do you got in mind for next steps based on where we are? And once we made the commitment to go get the motor, we thought we'd be all done today, by the way, and it should be about $1,400 on your total. We're not all done today, of course. We've got another day. Anyway, based on that, we're just wanting to see what you're thinking of for a path forward, and maybe we'll put a big red bow on this thing at Christmas time or something, huh? All right, thanks.